You know, it's one thing when fans stand up to current year wokeness and they start questioning things like, what are you doing with this newest iteration of Star Wars? It's another thing altogether when actors stand up, especially actors that are basically the foundation for these characters, and they start asking questions like, what in the heck do you think you're accomplishing here? Don't you think that you're maybe losing money? So hey there. So today I want to return to the biggest trash fire on the planet. You guessed it, Disney Star Wars. Now, with that date looming ever closer for the rise of Skywalker, we're finding out more and more about what people think behind the scenes, and it's been interesting to see Billy D. Williams as one of them. Now, at first, Billy D. Williams was spun as basically being woke. 82-year-old comes out and talks about the way he identifies. Isn't that stunning and brave? When people went in and started looking closer, however, Billy D was questioning what was going on with Lando Calrissian. Why exactly would you shoehorn specific politics into that? Now, what's interesting about this, too, is people have been very proud that they've shoved identity politics into this. Sorry to have brought identity, gender politics into? Nope, not sorry at all, because I think the galaxy George gave birth to in 77 is big enough for everyone, and you see all of that. We are sentient. Oh, isn't that lovely? Isn't that stunning? Isn't that brave? And that's the idea that you've had attached to characters like Lando Calrissian. Now, before we get into this article, and it is a fun one, if you like this kind of content, you want to help an umbrella out, help us with our interactions. That means subbing to the channel, and thank you ever so much for doing that. I cannot say that enough. Thank you. I appreciate it. Share videos out there because, knowledge is power. We get this message out there, even to people that don't want it. Merry Christmas to you there. And also, when we're talking interactions, just liking, commenting, those things drive these videos to other people as well. Just saying interaction, that stuff moves it. It's amazing how much that helps. And thank you for listening to my spiel there. So, Star Wars icon Billy D. Williams perplexed by the idea of Lando Calrissian as pansexual. Now, isn't it interesting that the critics, they basically fell all over themselves talking about this time and again as we were going to move forward towards Solo. And when you think about that, why exactly would you want to bring that up as something that's a talking point for a movie going out to everyone? I mean, when I go to this movie, the last thing that I want to be challenged with is the idea of identity brought into this. This is supposed to be an action, an adventure movie. It wasn't really thought out. It wasn't long in the plot. But yeah, they brought in these elements that made you think he's not really talking about sexuality. He's talking about humping the leg of any old droid or any old thing that'll do. So Star Wars icon Billy D. Williams criticized the focus of Lando Calrissian's sexuality in Solo, Star Wars movie. In an interview with Rolling Stone, author, I'm going to say Brian Hyatt, writes that Williams was perplexed that Lando Calrissian would be pansexual. He was also perplexed by Solo's suggestion that Lando was in love, maybe even lust, with a droid. And that's true. I mean, you're talking about the most annoying droid in the galaxy, too. If you listen to that droid, I couldn't actually partner up with that droid just to fly around, let alone actually think, hey, I want to be in some kind of relation with that droid. But man, like I said, you're going to take that character, you're going to turn him into something that you don't need. And he notes this here, too. I think that's the reason they didn't have the success they could have had. And that's true. I mean, really, why would you do that? And he notes this as well, because they were going for something that was topical instead of an adventure that's far beyond those questions. If you're talking about this huge, incredible story, why lock yourself into this tiny moment between a character like Lando and his robot friend? That's exactly the thing. Why would you ever even entertain these questions? If people brought that up, you could easily deflect away by saying, well, you make this thing your own. If If you see that there, that's great. But you don't make that a talking point. You definitely don't make it an advertising point. But, yeah, the person that I was showing you before, you may recognize them. They definitely did. They definitely made a huge deal out of it. So the writer to that declared Lando was pansexual in May of last year. Pansexual, of course, is someone who's not limited sexual choice with regard to biological sex, gender, or gender identity. When asked if the character was pansexual, he told MSN, I would say yes. Here's the fluidity to Donald and Billy D's portrayal of Lando's sexuality. I mean, I would have loved to have gotten a more explicitly LGBT character in this movie. I think it's time, certainly, for that, and I love the fluidity, sort of the spectrum of sexuality that Donald appeals to, and that droids are a part of it. You know, he doesn't make any hard or fast rules. I think it's fun. I don't know where it'll go. It needs to go right in the freaking trash, because you don't need to be talking about someone going out and having relations with droids. In fact, what's amazing about that idea is you're talking about the same people that applaud it, say, yeah, that's so stunning, that's so brave. They talk about robots actually being evil in a lot of ways, because you're going in and you're oppressing that, you're replacing. I mean, if you look at now, it's amazing what the reaction is to that actual subject versus these people that are applauding it as well. So, I mean, you can see how that goes. And of course, Donald Glover, he comes in, he also states that his version is that too. You know, he says, yeah, how can you not be pansexual in space? There are so many things to have that with. I'm serious. I don't think that was that weird. He's coming on to everybody. I mean, really? It's not that weird. He's coming on to everybody. Yeah, okay here. But anyway, I mean, when you look at that, he also criticized Donald Glover's look as Lando in that. To me, I'm Lando. I love that Donald Glover, he's a brilliant young man, but his hair was not how I thought of Lando. He was more Afrocentric with his hair. I have nothing against that. But when I created Lando, he was beyond all of that. Yeah, he was from a galaxy far, far away. He basically did his own thing. He was his own man. And well, he wasn't anymore. Interesting how that works. You shackled him to freaking Disney. Good job there, Donald. Good job indeed. But what do you think about this? I'm curious. So, again, I want to end this by saying thank you. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate you being part of this endeavor. You empower it. You know, places like Disney, they forget it, and woe be it unto them. That's why they fail with movies like Solo. They never learn lessons either. I mean, if you want to go out and you want to preach the gospel of like this, so be it, but don't expect to actually make money. You know, in this, I want to say everybody's invited to the game too. Everybody, pro or con, doesn't matter exactly what you think of this stuff, but leave me your comments here. And like I said, if you want to help with interactions, that's definitely appreciated, but you just spending your time, that's appreciated too. So closing, thank you, appreciate you. We'll do this again soon. Thanks.